Hey guys, Bam here from Multiversus University, and welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into a crucial aspect of Multiversus gameplay, the dodge meter. So we're going to break down the basics, certain ways that you can improve on your own meter management, and also certain things that you should be looking for in context, the added context of dodge meter in neutral, advantage, and disadvantage. All right, so let's get into it. In Multiversus, your dodge meter is your best friend when it comes to evading attacks and maintaining your momentum in battle. You start with 6 bars in your dodge meter. Each time you dodge, 1 bar is consumed. So you always got to be mindful of your usage, because once your dodge meter is completely depleted, you enter a state called Burnout. During Burnout, your dodges lose all intangibility. You lose the ability to parry, airwalk, your dodges become slower with a later cancel window, and your meter starts to recover slowly over time. However, when you do land an attack, whether you are non-burnout or burnout, you will gain half a bar. So that's very, very important in terms of when you're choosing to go into burnout, if you want to expend all your meter in order to get extensions or apply pressure to your opponent. One of the biggest things to note in this game is that utilizing a dodge into another action, like an attack, special, or jump, will burn 3 bars. A dodge will burn 1 bar, but also a charged attack with armor or a unique attack that has intangibility on it, or special that has intangibility on it, that also will cost 1 bar. Certain ways that you can go about saving your meter is delaying your actions. Right? So going for a delayed attack outside of dodge is really, really powerful in this game. There is a certain threshold in which you do an attack where if it falls in that threshold, you will be penalized 2 additional bars. If you wait slightly outside of that threshold, you can attack and you will not be penalized. This is really strong to conserve meter in situations you don't necessarily need to burn it. You don't need that additional speed. So recognizing where and when you should be utilizing dodge attack, or just going for a dodge and then doing an attack a little bit after, is really important in conserving your meter and always being able to be mobile. And in a game where you do not have shield, mobility is still going to be number 1, even with parry being a solid option. Now, one particular unique attribute, when you do an up dodge into a jump, it actually negates the 2 bar penalty. So that allows you to do hyper hop into an attack, and it will only cost 1 bar. And also, while airborne, going into a dodge cancel double jump will also be 1 bar. These things are really particular to note because this allows you to chase without burning your meter and not getting hit with some ridiculous reversal, which ends up costing you the round because you now entered a burnout state. So be free to leverage these kind of tactics and strategies to make sure that you always have meter when you're on the offensive and preparing yourself for meter if you need it defensively. The biggest cost is going to be at 3 bars. It's very important when you are looking at positioning. You want to be able to read your opponent, especially focus in on when they have less than 3 bars or they're sitting at 3 bars. This is key, as most strong metered options in the game, outside of any delays or the up dodge tactics, will cost them and put them to burnout. So understanding that knowledge and knowing when someone's probably going to play conservative, or understanding some people who may be reckless with their meter, figuring out when they elect to go into burnout, what they tend to do in those kind of key situations will give you a good understanding if they're paying attention to their meter, if they have proper meter management or not, and how they like to manage their meter. Do they like to be aggressive? Do they like to go into burnout constantly, but try to do it in a way where they burn out themselves when they're in offense, and they have combos that also reflect them being in burnout so they can still get good damage? Or are they just burning out their meter and with no understanding of the risk reward? Those things are going to be big when you're trying to read your opponent in Multiversus, and that can turn around any stock at any point in time. Why are we even talking about this meter and the movement? Dodge in Multiversus is going to be your primary movement option outside of the jumps and fast falls, and of course your general walk speed. The big thing in any fighting game and platform fighter is being able to control space and bait your opponent into making mistakes. the effective use of dodge meter is going to allow you to control space and also position yourself in places where you can pressure your opponent consistently or avoid any particular pressure situations they're setting up for you. Now, footsies is all about maintaining that perfect distance where you can hit your opponent, but you can also move just outside of their reach. This concept applies to multiverses as well, and utilizing your dodge meter strategically helps you maintain this optimal distance and optimal advantage. In reference to even just general fundamentals in fighting games, while it's great to stay outside of range, it's also you need to know when to go in close to overshoot and apply pressure. A lot of times in multiverses, most characters will be overshooting either with a dash attack or going in with some metered option to apply pressure. Every single person should be learning how to master their dodge meter, learn how to be conservative when need be, and also understand where you can be aggressive. Knowing how to play your opponent when they're in burnout, and also how to defend and or apply pressure while you're in burnout is the key to being a pro player in multiverses. Anyways, that's about wraps it up for us here about the dodge meter, neutral, and you in terms of multiverses. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, and click the bell for some more multiverses tips and guides. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for tuning in. See y'all next time. Class dismissed.